Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a landmark Singapore High Court case that has significant implications for judgment creditors seeking to enforce debts. Timing Ltd and Tay Toh Hin. This ruling challenges a long-standing legal principle on whether a joint bank account can be garnished to satisfy a judgment debt owed by only one of the account holders. We'll break down the facts of the case, what garnishment actually means in simple terms, the High Court's reasoning, the legal significance of this decision, and finally a commentary. Before we dive into the case, let's take a moment to explain what garnishing actually means in simple layman terms. Imagine you lend money to a friend, but they refuse to pay you back. You sue them in court and win the judgment ordering them to pay. But what if they refuse to pay or claim that they don't have money? This is where garnishing comes in. To garnish means to legally seize money or assets from a third party, like a bank or an employer, on behalf of a creditor. So if a debtor has a job, the court may order their employer to deduct a portion of their salary and send it directly to you to settle the debt. If the debtor has money in a bank account, the court may freeze and withdraw that money directly to pay off the judgment. The interesting question in today's case is what happens if the debtor has money in a joint bank account with somebody else. Can the money in that account still be taken? That brings us to Timing Ltd and Tay Toh Hin, a case that changed the law on garnishing joint accounts in Singapore. The plaintiff, Timing Ltd, had successfully obtained an arbitral award of USD $34 million against the first defendant, Tay Toh Hin. This award was enforced in Singapore, and the plaintiff sought to recover the judgment debt. One of the enforcement actions taken was an application for a garnishee order to seize funds held in joint bank accounts that Tay had with Standard Chartered Bank. However, at first instance, the judge dismissed the application, citing an earlier case known as One Investment and Cham Po Meng, which suggested that joint accounts cannot be garnished. That case was appealed to the High Court, which made a ruling that overturned the previous position in One Investment. The High Court examined legal authorities from the Commonwealth, Canada, and the United States and found that there is no categorical rule preventing joint accounts from being garnished. If there is strong prima facie evidence that all the money in the joint account belongs to the judgment debtor, that account can be garnished. The court rejected the argument that joint accounts should always be insulated from enforcement action. This ruling is groundbreaking for several reasons. The court refused to follow One Investment, which had suggested that joint accounts were automatically protected from garnishment. Instead, the court took a more pragmatic approach, balancing the interests of creditors against the rights of non-debtor account holders. If joint accounts were absolutely shielded from a garnishee order, debtors who owe money could easily evade enforcement by moving their assets into joint accounts. This case closes that loophole while still requiring strong evidence before an account can be garnished. Going forward, an applicant seeking to garnish a joint account must prove a strong prima facie case that all funds belong to the debtor. The applicant should also give notice to the other joint account holder and provide an undertaking to cover any losses if it turns out that the funds don't belong to the debtor. This ensures that the rights of joint account holders who are not the ones who owe debts are not unfairly trampled upon. Now let's take a step back and reflect. At its core, this case is about money, debt, and control. But it also reveals something deeper about attachment and impermanence. Money, wealth, and assets, such things make us feel secure, but in truth, they are fleeting and subject to change. We may believe that our financial holdings are protected, yet this case shows how the law can suddenly shift, and what we once thought was safe can be suddenly exposed. This is a reminder that clinging too tightly to financial security can be a source of suffering. The judgment debtor in this case might have thought that his assets were safe in a joint account, but ultimately, the law changed its view. It raises a broader question. Are we placing too much faith in material security? Do we become attached to things that are ultimately beyond our control? Legal principles must uphold fairness, but at the same time, this case reminds us that nothing is truly fixed. Law evolves, precedents shift. Even what we once considered untouchable can, over time, become subject to change. Perhaps the true lesson here is to prepare, but not to cling. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.